An expert from John 3:18. Let us not love with our words or speech, but with the actions and in truth. If ever there is a tomorrow when we're not together, there is something you must always remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. But the most important thing is, even if we are apart, I'll always be with you. Winnie the Pooh. In a way, I think that love is the ability to feel when something is absent. This sounds sadder than it really is. As a kid, I loved the rain. This is because the rain meant that there would be puddles, and I loved puddles because that presented the opportunity for me to pretend to be a friendly giant who rescued the worms, which I imagined were people, from their flooding cities. When it would be sunny for multiple days at a time, I missed the rain. When it was rainy for too long, I missed the sun. In the winter, when my nose was frozen, I would wish it was summer, but when it was summer and my cheeks turned bright red, I wished it was winter. It's similar to saying that you always want what you can't have, but from a different perspective, because it is not that people want to put what they love in order, but it is the recognition that our current love will grow absent and must therefore be found, cherished, and nurtured. Love is the gift that you carry from someone even when apart. The knowledge that at one point they saw you and didn't need to understand, but had the ability to listen. My first memories of Plymouth Church include questioning Maya, who was the child care teacher, about her tongue ring. Trying desperately to wrap my 3-year-old brain around the fact that she didn't just glue a marble to her tongue, she was a true symbol of bravery because she actually let someone stick a needle through it. I remember having competitions with Nikki and Harlow over who could roar the loudest. Most of all, I remember seeing the big kids be able to run around the church on their own without needing a parent and feeling like the day I got to do that would be the day I was truly grown up. According to that logic, because I am now able and planning on living in Maine without a parent, I am not only grown up, but it appears that it is time to say goodbye. When laying on the floor in Young Voices and listening to Kristen sing I'll Fly Away to the class as a wind down, I still believe that those moments were the most peaceful moments of my life. It was after I had a dance class with Carol Humphrey, who I once told I would dance with until I was 20. I still remember her teaching me that if I don't know the choreography, all I had to do was sway. I must have been 5 or so years old when I began to participate in Wednesday night activities, and I valued them more than anything. I didn't have very many friends at school. I was a bit odd. I got distracted easily and was very dramatic when sharing my ideas with the class, and I was extremely sentimental. I was taught throughout my life that I needed to show compassion and care for others, that there is no need to exclude people and to primarily value those who are judged due to the opportunity for discussion. These values stem from the peace gifted to me by Plymouth. Growing up is funny because people tell you that it feels slow, but in a blink of an eye you'll be wrinkly. The reminder will become more and more constant the older you grow until there is no one left to say it but you. And it will happen in a blink of an eye. All of a sudden you'll hear rumors about those big kids getting married. You'll see the babies in the hallway doing their homework. Find yourself telling your friends from church about your first dates and how it's odd to you now that you used to think it was gross. You're going to find that some faces never seem to leave, but they too change as they retire, turn gray, warn you about hip replacements and diabetes. My goal really isn't to make people feel old, but rather to illustrate the visual passing of time. With this goodbye comes many realizations of love. I never got my letter to Hogwarts. I never got to visit the mermaids in Neverland. I never fell down a rabbit hole, but at the same time, with age, I have been able to understand that these wishes were small exposures to the details of life I was missing. These other worlds are just more sparkly in order to emphasize what is difficult to find. One of the purest forms of love is helping others discover the details that they will one day feel the absence of, but to give them the ability to feel the absence in the present. When I was a kid, my favorite movie was Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. But as I've grown older, the movie has continued to mean more and more. When Mr. Megorium is saying his final goodbyes to Mahoney, he explains the necessity of modesty within goodbyes. The knowledge that although he is leaving, he lived his life in all its glory. The church has seen me grow. It is not time to say goodbye to the graduate class's childhood, but rather it is time to turn the page. And you can always turn to the previous one and recognize it without changing it, because all chapters must come to an end. And this Youth Sunday especially celebrates the end of this chapter. But while we all go off to what's next, remember not to dwell on the absence of past generations, but to notice the current love. Delilah doing gymnastics tricks in the hallway, Phoebe always helping when needed, and Rowan who will likely complain about me stealing her clothes until she's the one standing up here. The end of a chapter is not the end of a book, and even at the end of a book, there can always come another book. The continuation of memory and story is the truest and most permanent form of love, and the only immortality of childhood. As Winnie the Pooh says to Christopher Robin, "How lucky am I to have something so difficult to say goodbye to." It happened in a blink, and we will all keep blinking, but while we are here together, I thank you, I love you, and goodbye.